Hey, what's up everybody? Today we're gonna tie freaking crazy fly that I caught 2 nice muskies on and 2 casts. I know it doesn't mean much, but still caught them on that. All black, game changer with 2 hooks and a chartreuse head. This is the smaller model, 4/0, 6/0. Then we're gonna tie the bigger model, which is a 6/0, 8/0. This thing's an absolute beast. It swims like crazy, pops like no tomorrow in that like dirty, murky water we have here in Montreal. So let's start this off. We're gonna do a 20mm shank with a fastach in the back. You know I love my fastach. You can change whatever tails you want, have different actions. And when that tail's fucked up, then you can still put a new one on and don't throw your fly away. 150 denier power thread. I'm gonna come close this shank. We're gonna tie the same one today. We're at black and chartreuse. I also tie it with all black and orange. It's a really good color also for murky water muskies. Alright, pick a brush. These are the ones I make. Got that flash from Nightmare Musky Flies. Flash and fiber. Strip just a little bit off the end to expose the wire. And then we're going to tie it in. Tie it in. Brush all the fibers onto one side. Then the first one we'll do 3 wraps, and then the other ones we'll do 4 wraps. So 1, you want to space them, you don't want it too thick in the back. 2 and 3. Hopefully you guys can hear my AC going. It's been so hot here, so going like crazy right now. Alright, I brushed the fibers back with this loom brush, really good. Then you can come in and split it to where you're gonna tie in. Don't make a mess. So I do 4 loose wraps. Then I pull on it, and then I hold the shank with my finger and then pull down hard. Finish this off in front. I don't know if I said it, but this is 1.5 inches. And I push the excess wire down. And then come cover it nicely. Use these precision nippers too. Don't use your scissors for these. You're gonna ruin them. Couple whip finish. And then before putting the glue, take that brush and then dig it in and brush out. You can do it as you're spinning it around on your, applying that brush around, and every time you go around you brush, but it's honestly the same thing with this. I'm going to finish off with some glue. Glue. So the first shank was a 20. I got 2 22s, 25s. I make my own, so I'm not quite sure what they are. It doesn't really matter off the bat. And it's literally the same thing. Instead of 3 wraps, I'm going to do 4 wraps and 4 wraps. And I'm going to fast forward it so you guys don't have to watch me do the same thing 3 times. And then I'll shut up, and then we'll be back for the rear hook. Alright, we're done with our 3 articulations. This is going to be the back part. Doesn't look like anything right now, but trim it up later. It's the biggest part. So it's going to be a big, this is the bigger fly. Up front we're going to have a 8/0 beast. And then in the back we're going to have a 6/0 Kona BGH, Big Game Hunter. Put this in the vise. Just going to put a small wire to hold the articulations in place. It doesn't need to be super secure. There's not going to be any pressure on the back articulations. I just got a small piece of coated wire. It's like 40 pounds. Put it on. Bring it a little bit on that bend. And there you go. And then we're going to put the 3 articulations that we've tied in. Put the wire down. Doesn't really matter. Put it in place. Decent little loop in the back so it doesn't restrain any movement. And then tie this off. So we did 1.5 inches in the back. We're gonna hop on to 2 inches. I usually do 1.5 inches and 2-inch brushes. I don't do the 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Like, just, you got way too much stock after it gets a little complicated. Or at the end, so you expose that wire. Not focus. And then we're gonna tie it in, same thing. Not too far off the edge, but pretty close. Don't want it too tight so all those fibers will hop onto the back fibers and it'll restrict that movement that you want. And then brush everything back. Then when I brush everything back, I like to bring it towards myself like this to do the first couple wraps like that. 1, 2. So if you wanted, I don't know if you guys can see, but you can take that brush and then every wrap you can brush it out, but honestly it doesn't make any difference. So we're at 3, 4, 5, and 6. Brush it out so you guys can see it good. So let's do 6 and 7. Same thing. Brush it out. I like to take it, I don't know if you guys can see it, I put it in the brush to separate it. Just to push those fibers back, and then I can grab it, my thumb and index, a couple loose wraps, and then cinch down. Cut it. So yeah, I love tying musky flies, but I don't love musky fishing, to be honest. I do it from time to time, but our waters are so massive that you can go days without getting any bites or follows, and I like action, you know. I'd rather go for bass and catch 40, 50 bass on the fly than maybe catching one or getting a couple follows. But my buddy's like, ah man, they're biting like crazy right now, we gotta get out. Went out for about 3 hours, nothing, no bites, no follows. Then as soon as the sun kind of started setting, same spot, we were anchored in the same spot for what, maybe 20-30 minutes. He was casting lures, big spinners and gliders and nothing, and then was eating my lunch or my dinner. Then first cast, boom, hook on a fish, release it, and then second cast I get another one in the same exact spot, which is absolutely absurd for how big the St. Lawrence River is and how scattered the muskie are. But I guess it was the right day, right place, everything was good, the color of the fly was good, everything was going. So sometime it happens, all falls in line, and we're all good to go. Alright, next we got a 50 mil, this is a stronger wire, shank. I buy mine off Nightmare Musky. I just can't be like, it takes a while to make these shanks, especially those larger wires. You can't use those pliers, and yeah, rather just buy them and make my own, I guess. You gotta be careful, sometimes they're not in line, so you just gotta put it back in place. So we'll do, fill the shank up, close it up. So if you want a rattle, this is the part where I put my rattle. See, this one has a rattle in it. This is not the one I caught them on. I caught them on the ones with no rattles. But this is where I'll put the rattle. I'll put it either on top or bottom. I didn't find much of a difference with the keeling. I think the bottom is better for keeling, but then also on my smaller flies with that smaller 6/0 hook, I'll add a tungsten weight in the back to help it keel. But I find with the beast fly, it's a very strong and very big hook, and it keels the fly pretty well, especially with that 6/0 in the back. So you don't need to keel these, which is good because that tungsten is pretty expensive. These flies are not cheap, you know. If you buy all those brushes, man, those flies can run you what, 15, 20 bucks maybe. I tie my own brushes, so it's a little bit of a different story. But all right, still go with the 2-inch brush. It's the 2-inch, right? Yeah, it is. Actually, I might have a bigger piece. Let's go with a brand new section. And then cut off the excess wire and tie it in. So it's kind of boring to make these, but man, they swim so well and they last so long, and you can just literally throw them in your box, even if they're wet or whatever, and they stay perfectly fine. It's not like bucktail where you really need to take care of it and dry them off and be careful that the well, this is too long. I'm gonna cut it. It's annoying to. Yeah, it's not like bucktail where you really need to take care of it, and you leave it in wet, it's gonna smell, and all the firebirds are gonna be pushed back. This thing, man, like, it's indestructible. So same thing, I'm gonna start wrapping. Count them: 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then when I get to a point where they're not, well, the fiber's not pushed back, then I'll push it back again. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Doesn't have to be 14. You can, if you want like really thick profiles and I guess you could do more wraps, but I find the less wraps the better it is. You're saving material, and your that fly is going to be pretty heavy with water after when you want to try and cast it. If you put those wraps too tight, and it doesn't swim that well. It swims well, but the wraps are too tight like that, it'll hinder the back articulations and it won't swim that well. We just gotta finish this off, and then we'll do the front hook. Good finish. See, it doesn't look like anything, and then you brush it out and it gets all those fibers that are stuck between your wraps, gets them out. This brush is really good. If you're working with brushes, those metal brush are top notch. You can use the cat brush, but it doesn't go as deep. You know, this you can really go almost on the shank and brush it out. I'm gonna put some glue. I'll show you guys my, we're not going to use any wire up front. I'm going for musky, big fish. You're applying a lot of pressure with those 11, 12 weight rods. So we're going to do a built-in shank that I've been working on. Now you got this section's done. Doesn't look like much, but we'll trim it as I said. Then let's try and fit this 8/0. It doesn't fit on top, but if you put it on the side like this, on the peak places, and you push it in, it fits perfectly. Perfect. Do I have any other? Actually, I don't. Might have some. Instead of using power thread, I'm just going to use some big fly, the 360 denier, to put the shank on. You could use wire, but then more fish you catch, especially if they're hooked on that back hook, is going to twist that wire. You might pull. Honestly, I've never had any fish pull a wire like that on my front hook, but just to be safe, I made some of these. So this I put it in the front, goes in, then it'll lay flat like that. You can't use this method with any hook. That really depends on how big the eye is. These are freaking massive, so you have a lot of space to play with, and it's super secure. This ain't going anywhere. And this is 0.45 wire, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to bring it all the way back. Cover this baby up. You take back fly, make sure your hook is facing down. I'm gonna put it in, and then we'll tie in the shank. I've been testing this method on bigger flies like this, and it doesn't, like, it's literally impossible to pull this out, and it won't twist. We're gonna glue this in place. And that happens when making your own shanks. Also happens with store-bought shanks, so it doesn't really, just gotta be careful. Alright, so it's covered nicely. Just gonna cover a little more in the back. So if you're using smaller hooks, before doing this, I would put a tungsten scud weight in the back, the large ones. If you want to keel those hooks, want it to have a faster sink rate maybe. It's more for keeling purposes. We got this, we'll put some glue on, and we'll be back when it dries to finish off the head. I'm not gonna put any eyes on these, honestly. Like for musky in this dirty water, it doesn't really matter. It does look better with eyes, but the swim doesn't really change on these big things. So we'll do a no eye. So we'll be back when this dries. All right, this is dry. Let's finish the head off. So we did 1.5 inches, 2 inch, and now we're gonna do 3 inches. We're only gonna do a couple wraps with the black one. You could go chartreuse right now, but I find the transition, the color transition is better if you use the same color as the last step for the first couple wraps. So same boring technique. Brush everything back. I'm gonna face it towards myself. You put a lot of pressure on these when you're wrapping it. 2, 3, 4. Let's do 5. 5. Trying to show you guys at the same time. It's kind of an awkward positioning. Brush this back, tie this in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tighten it. Bring your thread up front, and then cut it. Be careful with that wire that you just cut. I like to push it down with my nail. It doesn't cut my thread. You can brush this out. I really love this black with the UV chartreuse, what is it called? Wavelength flash. Nightmare musky flies though. Always nightmare musky flies. Now we got this. Really doesn't look like much, but it will. Now, flash and fiber in chartreuse, and I added some wavelength flash inside the brush as well. Same thing, tie it in. Then we'll finish the fly off. Then we'll trim the fly with the beard trimmer or hair trimmer. Much easier and get some nice clean cuts, and it's super fast. I don't even use scissors anymore, even on my smaller game changers. I don't use scissors. So much faster like this. Now I'm gonna wrap this. Because they're going to be a little tighter wraps. The material is not as thick as the black. You don't want it like super close, but then once we get up front, you're going to want it a little more bulk up front. Push a little more water, get a nice wide head. Sorry if you guys can hear the AC, fucking loud, but man, it's hot. And then once I get closer to the eye, I'll wrap tighter. Get a really, get a thicker head. I'll have just enough with this. Let's go one more. I really love these bees hooks with the super, you guys can't see shit. With the really large eye. It's so hot, even my camera's saying it's fucking too hot right now. Please stop recording. We're almost done. Probably take a little rest for my camera before we start trimming this thing up. And then I'm gonna finish this off. Cut it. Alright. Get nice and tight. Nice and tight. Alright. We're done. We are done. Wasn't too long, was it? I don't know. Fast forward the first couple steps. There you go. Cut this off and then brush it out. Find the more wavelength flash you put in your brushes, the more it gets kind of stuck. But goddamn, it looks good in the water. The flashes so much, that UV color is freaking amazing. So now we're left with a freaking mess. A nice mess. Looks like this. But then when we're done trimming, should look a little nicer like this. Alright, take a little rest, change batteries, and then show you how I trim these things. Alright, time to trim this bad boy up. I'm going to do it with a electric razor. Super easy compared to scissors. Will save you some time. I'm going to brush it out. I just put in a shank, an unclosed shank. Put your fly in it because these eyes do not fit in the shank. They're way too big, or in the shank, in the holder. So we're just gonna brush it out. We're gonna leave a little more materials on top than on bottom. The bottom part's a little harder since you got the two hooks. We'll just go slowly and then try and taper it. I hold my fastach in the back like this straight, and then just get a nice shape up front, and then cut straight down. And you can do the sides a little bit. Probably gonna do a little more. So a decent cut for the top, and then flip it around. We'll do the side. Flare it out. I like to keep the front part a little thicker, so it pushes water and it really makes that tail move. Trim a little bit off and then start going downhill after. Really take your time on these and don't rush it. I like to do a little bit and then turn it to the other sides, and then I look at it over again. Just flare everything out. Hook. Looks alright. And then for the hard part, it's going to be the bottom of the fly. Since you got those hooks, it's not easy. You can always finish it off smaller fibers with scissors after. Hold the fastach, and then start trimming. If you want a little less material on the bottom, this is already day and night. what it looked like before. Already looks much better. Get some really nice movement. If you hold your game changers sideways and they don't fall like this, it means they won't move very well in the water. The articulations are not going to be free. You put too much materials in the fly, then just hold it like this. Comes from the front. I don't know if you guys can see there was the focus right here. Since we've used different size brushes on these, you don't have to cut a lot. Like this, they literally have nothing down. If you only use like 2 inches and then 3 inches, or you only use a 3-inch brush the whole way, then you're gonna waste a lot of materials. This looks pretty nice. Probably just gonna finish off maybe a little closer to the hooks, but this is ready to fish. You can put some eyes on these, but honestly, it doesn't really matter, especially in that dirty water. I don't think they care about eyes or not. Yeah, it's ready to fish. But whatever tail you want on, you get some different actions and go fish this bad boy. As I said, you can tie this in these colors. I got some other brushes that I've prepared. These are 3 inches, but see, there's a nice little red, orange flash in there, and then the head's going to be done with this. So it's going to be all black, and then with a orange head. These pop out really good in the water as well. So yeah, try it out. Look like this. Get a little thumbnail, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe this. I don't know. Anyways, see you guys in the next video.